This is Ruby with MRV Financial. Thank you so much for joining us on this beautiful monthly for our topic of the week. We have a special guest today. Her name is Tiffany Jimenez. She is with Realty of Chicago. She has been a real estate agent for a year and a half or so, and she also has 10 years of loan officer experience. So this is someone that has been in the real estate industry for quite some time. She's going to talk to us today about shopping for your home during this weird COVID season, what to expect, what kind of questions you should be asking your real estate agents. As always, please don't forget to share, like, and subscribe to our medias. By sharing this message, we are really helping each other educate, all our networks are, influencing everybody in a positive way. So let's get on with our topic. Welcome, Tiffany. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Ruby. How are
You're
you?
welcome. I'm good. It's beautiful outside, that's for sure.
Yes, yes, it is. Lots to be grateful for, right?
Yes, great, yes.
Um,
So tell us about the industry right now. What is going on?
so actually, despite what many people might think, the real estate industry is on fire right now. We're seeing very serious buyers, very serious sellers. There are multiple offer situations with properties. So properties are being listed, and within 24, 48 hours, they're in multiple offer situations. And most properties are selling for above list price. So they're getting actually more than what they listed the property for.
Oh, wow.
And that's, for two reasons. There's limited inventory on the market right now. So that's the, cause for the multiple offer situation. But the fact that the interest rates are so low right now, there's so many people taking advantage of that. So many buyers out there saying, why rent anymore when I can own? Why pay, $1,200, $1,300 for rent when I can own my own home and be putting that into, paying my own mortgage and establishing my own, credit in the mortgage industry. So that's what we're seeing right now. Also, obviously you have to wear your mask, you have to take precautions, we're being very careful with going into homes that have, people still living in them. If someone is living in there, we ask them kind of to turn the lights on, leave everything open. So we're kind of not touching everything. And then, we leave it that way. And we ask the occupant to go ahead and, take care of that once we leave. We're carrying hand sanitizer and Lysol to make sure everyone's protected. So that's some of the things that we're doing to make sure that people are actually, physically protected from COVID right now, because that's important as well.
Are you requiring the sellers, or are the sellers required to disinfect prior to the showing?
Well, we're asking them to. If the property is vacant, what I do is I get there ahead of time and I, wipe things down, not, knobs, handrails, light switches, things that people are going to be opening, and I kind of leave them open. So I disinfect, and I'll leave the closet doors open, and I'll leave the lights on in every room so that by the time my buyer gets there, they can walk through freely and not have to worry about touching anything or opening anything. I also carry gloves if they want to use gloves. So that's also an option. And then after we leave, I wipe it down again, just, to be courteous, and then, lock it up.
Yeah. Wow. I didn't even, as you're saying it, I'm picturing it and I'm like, oh my God, I'm a germaphobe. Like I just, somebody has something and I'm like, oh my God, don't touch it, So I appreciate that. And I could totally see how people would be like, no, I don't want to right now because I don't know what people have in their homes.
Right.
I could see that reservation.
There is also, most of the time we let people know that if they've been exposed to COVID or if they're experiencing any symptoms, please let us know. It's our responsibility, right, to be honest, to protect everyone, ourselves and everyone that we come in contact with. So, we also put a little like kind of like disclaimer on our listings when we're listing a property, just saying if anyone's been exposed to COVID or if experiencing any symptoms, please reschedule your appointment or refrain from entering the property. And there's also disclosure now that they're putting out, and they're having people sign just stating that they haven't been in contact with anyone, and that they're not experiencing any symptoms, prior to going to a showing. So that's also available.
Oh, wow. Is
Yeah.
that part of the packet, or is this part of each company taking it upon themselves? Like, how would you you work with various people. I know that you're very known in the industry. Congratulations on your last achievement.
Thank you.
Um, so when you compare yourself to others in the industry, do you see everybody taking the same precautions?
I do. I do. I think everybody is, real estate was deemed essential, and we were very lucky to continue working through, this pandemic. So we're blessed. And I think that within that, all real estate agents realize that, what, this is very important. This is housing for people. We need to make sure that our sellers are taken care of, that our buyers are taken care of, but things continue to move forward even through this time. And as a collective, we have to make sure that everyone is doing everything that we need to do and everyone is taking the same precautions. So I am seeing it across the board, that people are taking precautions, every necessary measure.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. Anything else? Anything that you think, as a buyer should be really aware of right now? Last week we had a video on the interest rates.
Mm-hmm.
So if anybody has any, lending questions, do go back to last week's video. This is a follow-up from that conversation. I wanted to bring, real estate agents so that you could see the perspective of both, what you should be expecting from a lending perspective, and now, from your realtor, what should be happening and what shouldn't be happening.
Right. So there's a couple things. First, I would recommend that anyone from a buyer standpoint who is interested in purchasing a home to reach out to a real estate agent. As a buyer, you having an agent that represents you and your best interest, it doesn't cost you anything. So a buyer's agent is absolutely free. And you want to have that added protection when you go into negotiations where you're in a multiple offer situation or something like that. You don't want to go into that alone. You want to have an agent that is on your side and working in your best interest and making sure that you're getting the best possible deal that you can. Right now is an amazing time to buy because interest rates are so low, and they are the lowest that they've been in a very long time. And we don't know how long this is going to, continue for. Interest rates can go up whenever, right? Tomorrow we can wake up and they can go up. So if you are serious about purchasing a home, it's, there's steps to take. Contact an agent, contact a loan officer, get pre-approved. I wouldn't recommend going to see a property without being pre-approved because things are going off the market, they're going pending very quickly, 24, 48 hours. So you want to be prepared when you go see a property that if you like it, you can put an offer in it right away.
Mhm.
And I recommend going in and giving your highest and best offer, right out the door if that is the property that you see yourself in. Because there's 6, 7, or 8 offers on the property, and then you're going back and forth, and that can be frustrating for a buyer if it's their first home that they're purchasing. So you want to set yourself up for success. So definitely get a buyer's agent to help you work through that process, and they will help you navigate and make sure that your offer is solid, that your financing is solid, and that you're set up for success when you submit that offer to the seller. If you're thinking about selling for any reason, again, there's limited properties on the market, so you really want to take advantage because you're going to get top dollar for your property. So that's, it's a hot market for both buyers and sellers right now because of the interest rates, being so low. So definitely take advantage of using an agent. Again, as a buyer, it costs you nothing, and they are there to protect you and help you and make sure that everything is good on your end. As a seller, also reach out to an agent so that they can help you get top dollar for your property. Um, those are pretty much what I would recommend, just being ready. And also, again, if you're paying 1,200, 1,300, even, you know, $1,100 in rent, you're in a position to own a home. And sometimes it all starts with a conversation. Lots of times there are buyers who say, I could never own a home.
Hmm.
My credit is horrible, this, that, and the other. I've had to do some of my credit is horrible. And when they come to me, they're pre-approved for a $400,000 house because they just have no idea, right? If you're not an expert in that field, maybe you don't understand how to read your credit report, or you don't realize how you're qualified and things like that. So, you know, it a phone call costs you nothing. Attempting to get pre-approved costs nothing, and I would recommend trying to get pre-approved if that's what you want to do. Just make that phone call, speak with someone, and start that step. It all starts with a phone call. We can't be afraid. And what your uncle got, or what your cousin got for their home, or your best friend got, your situation can be totally different. No one's situation is the same, because I get that all the time. Well, my aunt got this and this happened with them, and that isn't. Everybody's situation is different. Everyone's home buying experience will be different. But me personally as an agent, I definitely aim to make the home buying experience very positive, especially for first time home buyers, because it can be scary, right? When you're going into this, you don't know what to expect. There's a lot of words you might understand. And I encourage, the buyers, ask questions. You're not bothering your agent when you're asking questions. The more you ask, the more you know.
Yes.
Um, and I also recommend to, um, buyers who have just closed on a property and have had an amazing experience to, spread the word, refer your agents, refer your loan officers. It's important, and we pride ourselves on doing a great job and providing amazing customer service. So that's always a great way to give back to your agent.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, Thank you so much for all of that. I totally agree. I remember, me and everybody that I know, that first time buy is always the scariest,
Yes.
and I think, you made a very solid comment on a lot of people just don't know the process, don't know the guidelines. So, this is exactly why we're doing this, so that people can get this information. You said complimentary, where they're not paying for it. They're not feeling like they have to take an action right now. Learning something before taking action is the very first step, so that you can justify if you truly are able to purchase or not. But if we're not learning what the rules are, what the guidelines are, we're kind of just shooting ourselves on the foot, by not taking the measures of, let me at least figure it out. And like you said, there's no cost to it but our time,
Right.
our time really. I I'm going to highlight what you said about when you do start to shop, the very first step is to get pre-approved for a loan.
Yes, definitely.
If you get someone that hasn't been approved for a loan, do you also help them out so that, I'm sure you have a network for them to start the process to figure out, because the whole purpose of getting pre-approved is for you to know what you can buy.
Exactly. So
That's really the bottom line.
right. So usually what happens if someone reaches out to me and they have not been pre-approved yet, I have my network of referral partners, and I'll refer them out. I'll have a conversation with them and kind of see where they're at, what they're thinking, what they're interested in purchasing, where they are now, how much are they paying in rent, making sure that their job is still secure, right? Because of COVID, we don't know what's going on right now. So we need to make sure that their job is secure and it's continued to be secure, because that's important. We wouldn't want to put anyone in a house that could potentially not be able to afford it, in a month or so. So that's important. And then I'll go ahead and refer them out to my referral partner. and I'll work closely with them. They'll get them pre-approved, and once they are, my pro partner will let me know, and then we set up our search, you know.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for letting us know that, because a lot, I don't want people to think like, oh, well, I can't talk to a real estate agent unless I'm pre-approved. Many real estate agents do come,
They do.
with a network to say, okay, well, I don't know because that's really the bottom line. I don't know what to do for you right now because I don't know where you are in life right now. I don't know where life is going to take you. And the only way for me to know that is by having that pre-approval, because somebody already gave you the money. It's like showing up with no money, basically, right?
Exactly.
So when you have that, you show up, you already know, okay, now we know what we can do for you, where, as far as areas, anything else that you think it's valuable for our listeners?
Um, Areas, I mean, all of Chicago is, I mean, even, surrounding suburbs, it's a very busy time in the market.
Okay, just everywhere then. Okay.
Everywhere. It's all across the board. Again, I think everyone might potential buyers might be thinking that there's a housing crisis, but it's the actual opposite. The real estate market is actually on fire right now, and it's moving, along, and we're not seeing a housing crisis right now, so, and you got buyers taking advantage of those rates. I mean, 2% or 2.5% is just unheard of.
Yeah.
In the last, 30 something years, they haven't been this low. So, it's a great opportunity to take advantage of that, lock in a rate, and you don't have to worry for a while because the rate's going to be so low. I mean, I have a potential buyer now who I'm working with, and, I think her mortgage payment is going to be like $1,000 for a two
Nice.
room, two bathroom little townhome. You can't beat that. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I mean, yeah, rent is high right now. I
Yeah.
mean, it goes with the market. So it's
Mhm.
one of those things. Okay.
And I'll just one last thing. I'll circle back to also getting pre-approved before you shop is so important because one, with COVID, it protects you, right? So there aren't people coming into a seller's home who are not pre-approved, who could potentially have been exposed or something. So everybody's protected because everyone is very serious. You know that anyone that is coming into your home, looking around, is pre-approved. They're serious buyers, and they're there because they potentially want to buy your property. It's not the time to just walk around and walk in people's homes and, be looking around without being a serious buyer right now because of COVID. You want to be careful. And also, you don't want to potentially go into a, $300,000-$400,000 house and fall in love, and then you go back and try to work on financing, and they're like, well, you only qualify for 200,000. So that's kind of setting yourself up for failure, right? So that's why it's necessary to take that first step. It's very, very important. And I'm willing to talk to anyone. We can do FaceTime, we can do Zoom, right? Technology helps us make it feel more
Yes.
personal right now, um, and we can have a buyer's consultation or a seller's consultation and really take time and go through anything that you want to talk about, your specific scenario, because everyone's situation is different. And then just we'll talk, and there's no obligation. You're not required to go do anything that you don't want to do, but at least ask the questions that are inside of you, or those, the unknown. It's always the unknown, right? Some
Hmm.
don't move forward because of the unknown. So it all starts with a simple phone call.
Yes. 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 Agreed 100%. Thank you so much for joining us today and, letting us know, what to expect. I didn't think about any of the stuff that you said. Obviously, I wanted to bring, an expert because this is not my expertise,
Right. Hmm.
So thank you so much for doing that for us, for, educating us on, what we should be expecting. If anybody wanted to get a hold of you, do you want to give us your phone number? And I'll go ahead and list it on the,
Sure. It's
Host as well.
312-437-8433.
Okay.
And you can also send me an email at tiffanyjimenezrealty@gmail.com.
Awesome. Awesome. So that brings us to our closing for today. Thank you so much for joining us on this beautiful monthly for our topic of the week with our special guest, Tiffany Jimenez with Realty of Chicago. If you have any questions for her, please do not hesitate to reach out to her directly. If you have any questions for us about your credit or, anything else, please, or to connect you with Tiffany, please do reach out to us as well. And we wish you a beautiful week.
Bye.